because that happens. We want to let y'all know this meeting is being recorded, so feel comfortable to stay cameras off, muted, share in the chat, and we also are going to share with the intentions you would have this stuff at the end of this. That's why we're recording it, guys, so that you can have this continued living base of knowledge. For those of you who do not know me, I did not introduce myself. My name is Rashana Taylor. I'm the strategic director and co-founder of Unity and Healing. And again, thank you for joining for this Self-Care Sunday, for all of this knowledge. Feel free to come off mute, drop stuff in the chat if you have any questions. We family, so thank you for joining, fam.
Oh my goodness. So, hi, my name is Leah Salader. Oh no, my slides are going too fast. That's okay. So I'm Leah Salader. I'm the creative director and also a co-founder of Unity and Healing. And I just wanted to give everyone just a quick little snippet about what Unity and Healing is. Unity and Healing's mission is to curate an uplifting, nurturing community for BIPOC folks to heal from cultural, historical, and present-day traumas. Through sharing practices and resources, we will build a network of healers, partners, members, and allies who are physically, mentally, and spiritually well. So we are going on this healing journey together. A lot of us are seeking something out, trying to heal from generational trauma or cultural trauma, like whatever. We all have trauma that we're trying to heal from. And I'm so excited for today's presentation with the lovely Bree, the goddess. She is a practitioner of hoodoo. She is amazing. She has a website where you can book readings with her. I could just talk about her all day long. I think she is such a wonderful, special person. And Bree, go ahead, girl. It's all you now.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Well, good afternoon. I guess it just turned 12. I'm sorry. This is Buffy. She will not let me be on the camera without reading her. She's having a little tummy ache, so she wants to be coddled. I might turn my camera off at some point, but this is just so my sister can take her away. She's on the way to get her. But I am so excited to be here with you all today. I told Leah and Rashana earlier that this is the most excited I've ever been to do a session, because this generation of healing really means a lot to me, and it was really a pivotal turning point in my own personal journey, spiritual journey. So I'm so happy to get into it with you guys. Again, I am Bree the Goddess. I am 27. I was about to say 24. That is a lie. I am 27 years old. I live currently in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I enjoy a plethora of different things, but spirituality is something that is spoken to me my entire life. And so I am so pleased and so happy to be here with you all and able to just speak from the heart. And I hope some of today resonates with you. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. Cool. Just chill out, listen, and we're going to vibe. So I think we can just go ahead and get started. We're going to do a small grounding exercise. So feel free to get very comfortable in whatever seat you may be. We're going to roll the shoulders up, and then roll them back, and then roll them down, just releasing some pressure and some tension in the body. You're going to take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale. Once again, inhale through the nose and exhale. And I just wanted to give everyone a chance to connect, set an intention for today, today's session. I'm setting my intention for today's session. Take a couple of moments to yourself, just breathing and grounding yourself into this session before we begin. All right, let's come back to it. Thank you guys so much for doing that with me. I really, really have begun to start doing grounding exercises before doing a lot of things, just so I can be present in the moment and keep things like on the up and up. So let's get started. What is generational healing? And everyone can hear me okay, right? Just thumbs up. I just want to make sure my mic is on. Okay, cool. So what is generational healing? I'm going to read straight off of this slide and then we'll go a bit into it. Generational healing is the work of being back of going back into our family's timeline and assessing the lessons and healing that were inaccessible to them in the past. And I'll give an example for that. So let's say poverty is something that has trickled down in your family for generations to generations. It started way back when, and you have seen it pour into generation after generation. Whether there's been one relative that broke that curse or broke that lesson, but you see that in your family, and you want to go back and see, where did it stem from? Where did it go wrong? How can I go back and find out how I can take that out of my life and move forward? That's the generational healing. You're doing it for yourself and the people before you and the people that come after you. So we are healing the energy of our ancestors in the present moment, and therefore it is impact our present experience. So right now, I will give an example from my family. Right now, we have the habit of not sharing. We do not share emotions. We do not share items. We do not share things. Like, it's sharing is just something that generationally has always kept us in a rut almost. And now that I'm going back and I'm seeing, where it comes from, it stemmed from someone taking something from one of my ancestors. And that is where the whole mine is mine. I can't share. I don't need to share because trust issues, you know? And so that's an example. All right, we'll go ahead. Why is it important? It is really, really important. I'm sorry, it's the truck running by. Let him go. Let him have it. To heal yourself and those who come from you and after you, especially for those who are parents and who want to become parents. This is important because you can pass down generational trauma, the wounds. You can pass down all of that. And especially as women, we hold the portal to access all of that, okay? We are born with trauma from our mothers and our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers and our great-great-grandmothers and the divine mother. We are born with that trauma. And so learning where that trauma stems from and how we can help heal that trauma, that's why it's so important. So we must heal generational wounds and traumas to not pass on the pain to others in the bloodline. One really important aspect I want to talk about is blockages. Ancestral wounds are holding us back from stepping forward into our best version of ourselves. So let's say we know about the not sharing, and we know about the poverty, and we know about the abandonment wound, or we know about the this might be a trigger. We know about the incest wound. We know about those things, and we choose to avoid it and completely avoid it at all and not talk about it. That causes a blockage within the body. And so once you create a blockage, now you have other things going on with your physical body, not only your spiritual body and your mental body, but now your physical body are starting to create blockages a lot, especially in the BIPOC community. We have a lot of digestive issues. We have a lot of heart issues. We have a lot of anxiety and hypertension, all stressful, high cholesterol, all of those lie within the body because they come from other things, other wounds. And the body is creating and carrying it on down generation, that this is a problem. Freedom also is another reason why it's important. Freedom, we gain freedom in our lives when we release those blockages that keep us in lower vibration circles. So circle cycle. Let's say I have digestive issues and I've had it for a while, and my sisters have digestive issues. She's had it for a while. My mom has had it for a while, but we still continue to eat the same diet. We still continue to eat the same foods, the same alcohol, drugs, whatever it is that we're feeding, we are feeding, and we are paying, almost like we're paying attention and paying ourselves to whatever it is that's eating off us. With generational healing, you heal yourself, and so therefore you gain freedom from that. I no longer have to worry about digestive issues. I'm free from it because I broke that wound. I broke that pattern. I set that rule apart and said, nah, I ain't gonna deal with digestive issues for the rest of my life. That's not comfortable for me. I don't want to pass that on to my child. I don't want their kids dealing with it. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna find an issue and I'm gonna stop it here. The third thing, which is a really important for me, is purpose. So many of us are here to do this work of clearing the old energy of our families to create space for the new level of awareness. So some of you were born for generational healing. Your purpose in your family, your role in your family is to provide generational healing. I am a person that was born into the family to heal the generation after me. How do I know? By meditation, connecting with our ancestors. If you were here for our last session, Ancestral Veneration, I talked a lot about how I get certain messages and certain dreams and certain synchronicities that tell me where my purpose is in life and what I'm supposed to be doing. And I know through research now that I was born for this purpose. And I was born to break those curses and break those generational wounds and heal them and identify triggers as well. And so through that, through healing myself, through healing that, I will heal the generations after me. And I'm helping to heal the generations before me. When we step into the path of healing, we are not just healing ourselves, we are breaking the ancestral patterns before us and creating a new path. So this quote is really dear to me because it speaks volumes of self-serving and letting your ego get in the way of certain things. I think a lot of times when people think of, oh, generational healing, that means I just got to get myself together and I'm the only person I'm worried about. No, not quite. Yes, it starts with you, but it does not end with you. Okay. You are doing this as a selfless service to the rest of your bloodline. The ones before you and the ones after you are reaping the benefits of this. So don't think of it so, oh, I'm working on myself. My generational healing is just for me and my kids. No. Your generational healing is for you, your grandfather, your grandmother, your great-grandfather, your great-grandmother, your great-great-greats, and so forward. Your grandchild, your great-grandchild, your great-great-grandchild. This is not just a linear equation. You are doing this for the entire collective of your bloodline. So I think this quote speaks volume. Is really, really important for people to understand. When you step onto this path, it's not about you anymore. It is about us. So you're trading in your me's for we's when you're thinking about generational healing. Don't forget about the strength. That this is very important because, again, I'm speaking from my experience with this spiritual journey. At the beginning, I only wanted to find the bad. I said, oh, my granddaddy did this. Oh, this is where this wound came from. Oh, my grandma was like this. This is where that wound came from. Oh, abandonment issue here, trust issue here. Oh, gambling issue, alcoholism, addict. Oh, this is where everything is from. And in that, I'm like, woo, the patterns, the wounds, the trauma, the curses, like, I'm overwhelmed because I forgot to claim the strengths from my family as well. So you want to make sure that although we are identifying some of the patterns and the wounds and the traumas, you want to also identify the strength in your family. Because one thing my family has done is gain independence from whatever they've ever been through. They've always been able to reassert and gain independence. And so that's a strength. And not every family has that. Also, my family has agriculture strengths. Whatever we touch grows. And I had to get back in that mindset for a long time. I thought, oh, I don't have a green thumb. Everything I touch dies within a week, dies within 2 weeks. But then I'm like, nah, let me call on the strength of my family. They cultivated farms for generations. There's no way that strength is not inside of me. I just need to call on it and nurture it. And lo and behold, I have a whole 3-year garden and I have so many vegetables, I don't know what to do with it. I have a community stand where I put my vegetables out because it's too many. But it happened when I started calling on that strength and claiming the strength. So again, remember, with darkness, there is light. Honor both. Embrace the duality. Yes, there are triggers, traumas, and wounds in your family bloodline, but also there's strength, there's positivity, there's history, there's heritage, there's a lineage of so many beneficial things to your bloodline that you should also claim. And claiming those things are also a process of healing, which is beautiful. Okay, the healing. So I know y'all like, you talking a lot about healing, a lot about all of that, but how do I heal? How I get into it? So number one is we're going to identify and accept. And also for those who don't have family ties or don't have so much of a history of a family to go back and look on. It starts with you. You identify and accept with you. So identify the triggers and traumas from you, right? If you don't have a family or you don't have ties to a family, that is your first trigger and trauma right there. Okay. You need to sit and think about that. You need to pay attention to that. You need to sit and figure out where's that wound? What triggered that trauma for me? When did I start to feel alone? That is where you start. Pay attention to the things that happen to the bloodline more than once. There's a lot of things that happen in our bloodline, in our family history that's happened more than once. One, I'll be completely honest. One, for my family is child pregnancy. I had a great grandmother who had a child at 13. She had two daughters that had kids at 13. And then they had two kids that had daughters at 14. And so it happened multiple times. And that is something like, what about that? What can I look at and say, what happened? Was it neglect? Was it attention? Was it molestation? Was it a scream for help? Like, pay attention to those behavior patterns and see what creeps out, because a lot will come out. Just you sitting with it and using your critical thinking and analysis, you will be like, wow, okay, I understand. Okay, no one ever explained to them that this is something that can't happen, and then accept that as a part of you, because that's the part of you that needs to heal. You have to accept that, okay, cool, I am the product of a child pregnancy. I have to accept that, I have to understand that this is a part of who I am and this is a part of my story. I can't refute it. I can't ignore it, because once I refute and ignore it, then what happens to it? It gets bottled up, and that's how I get those blockages. So also, very important, encounter with the bloodline ancestors. Call on them. Ask them to show you certain things. It's cool. You might feel uncomfortable asking your great grandparents out of the blue when you walking in nature, like, so what happened to y'all? What happened? There was some of you abuse there. Why was you so abusive to her? But listen, ask the real questions. Some of the ancient teachers believe that what we do in life is directly affects the 7 generations before us and the 7 generations after us. So think about 7 generations before you. What was going on with them? You know what I'm saying? Let's think about it. Even if you can't trace it back as far as you can. And then if you can't, talk to somebody. Somebody knows something. Whether they're open to talk to you about it, that's one thing. And if not, talk to your ancestors yourself, meditate, go out in nature. A lot of us, especially in the BIPOC community, we have a lot of ancestral graveyards. And I don't know, some people don't know the difference between a cemetery and a graveyard. A graveyard is attached to the bloodline. Okay, this is a graveyard. This is a family or a church. A lot of times it can be at a church. This is the family graveyard. This is the family, the church graveyard. Cemetery is just somewhere where people are buried collectively. There's a family here. There's a family there. There's a family there. Normally at a graveyard, everybody is related somehow, some way, somehow. Somebody's related. Either you were married into the family or not. Go sit in the graveyard. It's crazy and as scary as it seems. Go ask the questions. Be respectful. Don't never step on a grave site, but be respectful. Bring an offering. Have a seat. Talk to them. What's up? I need to know. I have abandonment issues and I don't know where it came from because I didn't know you that well, but someone told me that you were abandoned as a child too. What's up with that? Did you pass that on to me? What happened? Did you leave someone? Did someone leave you? What happened? So really, really get into the encounter with your bloodline ancestors. They listen to them. They will give you answers. And it might be in the weirdest way. You might be watching the TV show and the TV show will be like such and such storyline. You'll be like, dang, that sounds just like my great granddaddy. Hello? Messages. Always pay attention to that. There's never no such thing as a coincidence. Listen to your intuition. And I think this is the most important of them all because internally we know, internally the healing, the identification, the accepting, that all starts internally. And we know after connecting with your bloodline, you may be directed to do certain things. Sometimes I am called to just go outside and pick something up random and just go outside and go to the left. And then I'll go outside and I'll see a feather, or I'll go outside and I'll look in the sky and I'm like, something told me to come out here and look at the clouds. And lo and behold, that cloud reminds me of a toy I had when I was a child. You know, oh wow, that toy, whoa, that brought up a trigger for me because that toy was tossed out the window on the side of the highway because my parents didn't understand my love language. You know, there's so many, like, your intuition will reveal so much to you. But do them. Once you feel called and feel pulled to do something, do it. For a long time, I wanted to know more information about my dad's side of the family because my paternal family, they're not really close. And so for a long time, I'm like, dang, I know I have this one relative. She doesn't live around here. Maybe I should just send her a letter. And I said that for 2 years. 2 years, I said, maybe I should just send her a letter. Maybe I should just send her a letter. And I didn't send a letter until the end of last year. And she wrote me back. And I learned so much information about my grandfather's life as a child that he never talked about. His childhood, his father, stuff about his father, stuff about their mother that I would have never known because those things that my grandfather just didn't talk about. And I noticed now that he didn't talk about it because it hurt. There was a lot of trauma there. There's a lot of things that he tried to suppress and forget. And I have a tendency to do that. So I'm like, whoa, he passed that down to me. That was a trigger and a wound that I got passed down to. And I came from a 2-11 parent household. How did I get some of those wounds? It's because it was passed down. I've always felt a certain way, but I don't know why I feel this way. My parents are good parents. They love me. They provide for me, but I still feel like somebody's going to leave me and abandon me at any moment. Where did that come from? Because my grandfather was basically an orphan and never knew where he was going to stay the next day, you know? And so I have that fear all the time. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. If I miss one bill, I guess I'm homeless now and I'm going to be abandoned. No one's going to help me because I am that person. And it's that trauma coming up, that passed down trauma, like, ooh, the abandonment issues, Jesus. But yes, that is, what is a generational curse? Hold on. Okay. What is a generational curse? Now, there has been a lot of discrepancies over what a curse can actually be and what a generational curse can be. But a generational or ancestral curse are curses, behavior patterns, and diseases, especially diseases, passed down the family line, therefore affecting the lives of generation of the people. This could include financial well-being, health, social standing, and so much more. So, when I think of a curse, I think of something that has been spoken over the bloodline, especially when we talk about generational curse. So, you've ever heard about a family in a small town and everyone has something negative to say about that family? Like the whole family no good. I'm going to use that example. I'm just throwing out a random name. No offense to anyone that may have this last name, but the Royster family. The Royster family, they all go to jail. They all get pregnant at an early age. They all live in a poverty-stricken neighborhood. It's happened for generation. My grandma said it. My great-grandma said it. My mom said it. We've seen generations of the Roysters just turn out no good. That is a production of a generational curse. No, that is something that has been those behavior patterns, though, that something that's been spoken over that family name has seeped into their souls and their spirits and has produced this generational curse, and you've seen the outcome of it over and over and over and over again. You know, diabetes, one of the most leading African American diseases, is something that has been passed down over and over and over and over again. If your great granddaddy had it and your great grandma had it, and then your mom and your dad got it, and your aunts and your uncles had it, or someone's pre-diabetic and they might have it, this is a curse coming up over and over again. There's something there. There's something there in the bloodline, something that may be overindulgent. Somebody may be overindulgent in certain things. Some people might be coping using something, food, as a supplement for something else. Obesity can also be a generational curse. These are different things that show up in the body through generations because different people use different things to cope and different vices. So always remember that. I just tried to turn it myself. Why is it so hard to break the curse? Because this is something that is hard to do. I come from a family of a lot of African American diseases. One of the the leading diseases is heart failure. And it has killed so many people in my family. And I always ask myself, like, why is it so hard for everyone to break this cycle? Like, it seems like even when they do better and they start to do better, they start to fall by the wayside and it takes over them. Why is it so hard? Our words have so much power. And if there is a curse in a family's bloodline and the story is already being told repeatedly and repetitively, someone's always saying, well, we know we got heart problems. Well, you might have heart problems. You need to go get checked out because the heart problem running the family. Or he died of the heart disease. You might want to go get checked out. And it's always that story being told over and over again. You are casting another curse on your family. Just as simple as that. Your beliefs are a direct reflection of your energy. So if you believe, okay. At one point, I think I was in high school and we were learning about, I think I might have been in biology. It had to be biology. We were talking about something. And I think I said, oh, well, I've already accepted that I will either have breast cancer or diabetes and heart failure because everyone in my family has had it, at least one of the diseases. And I remember my teacher being like, "This is such an awful thing to say." And I said, well, I've already accepted it because that's the pattern in my family. And now that I go back and look, I'm like, oh my gosh, I cursed myself in that moment by speaking it over my body, and I truly in that moment believed that was my future. And so I felt it. Flash forward 5 years later, I'm in college and I have a physical and they're telling me that, oh, your borderline high blood pressure is really, really high. And your heart, it looks like you might have a heart murmur. I'm like, Lord, it's coming to fruition. Like I said it and I knew it was going to happen. But then I started working on me and healing me and noticing that how much power my words actually have over my body. And yeah, it was coming up because I wasn't doing anything to prevent it. I wasn't taking any steps to prevent it. I wasn't saying I am healthy every morning. I wasn't looking in the mirror and saying you are healthy, you are strong. I wasn't saying, oh, you are not your family diseases every morning. I wasn't affirming that power in my body. And so I walked a life of a curse, of a generational curse, because I believed that was something that was just going to happen to me. There was nothing I can do about it because it was passed down all through my family. And it's always been that way. So definitely, that's why it's so hard. You have to break the mental generational curse before you can break the physical generational curse. And I put a little tip. Oh, I'm sorry. You go back. I put a little tip down here. Take your time. This isn't an easy process and it takes a lot of time. But it takes a lot of time. How can I break the generational curse? Write it down. Write it all down. Write it all down. I don't know if you've ever seen that quote tweet from Erykah Badu where she's like, write it on real paper and use a real pencil and see what happens. This is exactly what she was speaking about. Write down what the problem is, okay? Whether it be a disease, whether it be a pattern, whether it be addiction, whether it be a behavioral pattern, whether it be a relationship problem, write it down. Write down every single one, everything that you think has been given to you or might be a product of your generational curses or generational healing. Write it down. What's wrong with the family? I'm sorry, y'all. Buffy is being difficult. She's like, I'm out. I'm in. Question the curses. And this is how you really break the curse. You question the church curse. Who told you that? Who told your grandma that? Who told your grandpa that? I don't know. This is really silly, but mole cancer, cancerous moles have been in my family for years. And for a long time, my mom would just pick them off of me. She would just pick a mole off me and just like, boom, nope, because cancer runs in the family, so we just gonna take it off ourselves. And I'm like, yo, like, you're not supposed to pull off moles like that. Like, it's not how it works. You go to the doctor, do all that. And she's like, no, we're just going to pull them off. I'm going to take it off of you and get rid of it. That way we don't have to worry about it when it comes up later. And I've never had any moles pop up on me in my adult life. Not one that I would consider alarming enough for cancer. But I question every mole I see now. Are you the cancer? Are you the result of this generational curse coming up? Where did this curse of moles come from? Who created this story? And it's literally like a story that they tell kids at the cookout. Like, you better watch that mole, like, your great granddaddy had a cancerous mole and all, it's question where that story comes from. Argue with yourself. Refute all the beliefs. You know what I mean? If poverty is one, who said I'm going to be poor? Who said that? Who said I have to be poor? Who said I have to live in poverty? Who said I have to have bad credit just because everyone else in my family has bad credit? Who said that? Where did that come from? Who spread that lie? Who put that in my belief? Is that really my belief, or is it just something I've heard my whole life? And so now I'm like, well, maybe. So cleanse yourself, your home, your altar included. Once you start writing all these things down, you're going to start noticing a lot of things like, whoa, I am feeling negative. I am crying. Crying is great. Release that energy. But I am feeling mad. I'm angry. Those emotions are allowed to come up. So make sure when you start writing them out, you might feel angry, frustrated, or why they tell me that? Why someone put that fear in me as a child? And a lot of the times you're going to have those conversations with yourself and your inner child. Cleanse yourself. That's the best way to get that stink off you. Cleanse yourself, whatever. Smoke cleanse, water cleanse, Florida water cleanse, whatever your choice of cleanser, however you feel cleanse. Take a shower, meditate in the shower. I cleanse that energy off, and I speak no evil or no negativity of what I've seen this day on me. All the negativity wash off of me from head to toe. Speak over yourself, and you will be cleansed. Build new beliefs to replace the old ones. So for me, the mole thing really took a while, and for me to just embrace the moles, so now it's not so much as, oh, new mole, are you cancerous? No, it's new mole, you're so beautiful, it's so cute, and that's me rewriting that belief to not be afraid of something that pops up on my body, but to embrace it and say, hey, okay, new addition to the body. I'm getting used to it. I'm accepting it. You're me. You're a part of me. I'm a part of you. You're not going to be cancerous because I am not claiming cancer in my body. I'm not gonna speak that over your life or mine, because we are one, we are together. And that could be for anything, poverty, addiction. Speak those that I'm not gonna tell you what your problem is or what your curse is in your family, because that's for you to do. And once you do the work, you will start seeing that stuff come up. But really, really replace the old with the new, and you'll see a whole new mindset in how you look at your family and everything. Even as far as it comes down to this might be a trick for some people, like child molestation. If you speak that this no longer will happen and it stops now, none of my kids will be touched, no one will harm my kids, my kid will not go through that, you will start to see more innocence come out of different people in your family. You know what I mean? Different things will start happening. Somebody might just come and have a conversation with you about something that happened back in the day. You be like, dang, I never knew that. But I've been doing the work to heal this bloodline. And so it's popping up. It's popping up because I've been healing. I've been working through this for us. Affirm the new belief. Okay? Talk to yourself. Affirm it until you truly believe it. Look in the mirror and say every day, I am cancer free. I am diabetes free. I will not claim any diseases passed down from the bloodline. Claim those things. I will not pass down any addiction or behavior patterns down the bloodline. I am not claiming any of them. Speak that over your life. So, will shadow work help? Hell yes. Yes. Shadow work will absolutely help. So quickly, there's a lot of different things now, I think, because spirituality is becoming more of a trend than a tool for some people. And so shadow work has been so many definitions of shadow work. I am sharing you what I believe in my experience to be shadow work. So I'm not saying this is what shadow work is. And Bree, don't tell nobody. Bree said that shadow work is down a lot of this. And if y'all ain't doing it that way, then I ain't listening to you. That's not what I'm saying. So for me, shadow work is looking inside my own individual wounds, my own traumas, And so I won't pass them down to the bloodline. And I'm sitting with those parts of myself that I don't show anyone else. I don't show these parts of myself to many people. This is not what I try to impress people with. These are the parts of myself that I save for maybe a romantic partner, maybe a spouse. Maybe I save these parts for no one. Maybe I don't share these parts of myself for no one. Those premeditated murder thoughts that you have after watching whatever true crime series, and you like, dang, if someone knew how I really could get rid of a body, they probably wouldn't talk to me anymore. That's a part of you, and you shouldn't hide that from people. You know, we all have different thoughts processes, and we all have different ways of thinking. But these are the parts of yourself that you need to heal. Why do you think that way? Why do you have an urge to get rid of a body? You know, just one that was just a random one. Okay, nope. There we go. Shadow work examples. Write an apology letter. Now, this is really, really big and it's really, really hard to do. So I do not recommend you doing this unless you are ready to. Write an apology letter to yourself, to your present self, to your future self, to your inner child, your past self. Write a letter to your unborn children, your children that are already here. Write a letter to your grandparents, to your mother, to your father, and apologize for things that you know have happened. Some things may have been out of your control, but let them know I am sorry that happened to you, because that is part of the healing process and help heal the bloodline as well. I'm sorry that happened to my inner child. You know, there were things that happened that was out of anyone's control. Yes, an adult should have been with you. Yes, an adult should have stood up for you. Yes, adults should have corrected the other adults' wrongs. I am sorry that happened to you, but I release you from that pain. So writing an apology letter can really, really be a form of releasing and a form of self-love as well. But also write to your different ancestors. Write to your great-grandma. If you know she was in a domestic abusive relationship for years and years and years, and no one, and still stayed with her husband, took care of the house, cleaned, worked, did all these things in the church, she was screaming for help. And now that you're older, you can look back like, whoa, those are not the patterns of a happy lady. Apologize to her. I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry you didn't get a break. I'm sorry no one was there for you. I'm sorry no one came and told you that you are worth more than this and that you deserve more than this. I'm sorry for that. So write those apology letters. They really, really help a lot. Forgiveness. Now, I can hold grudges. I have been one to hold a grudge, but in my own spiritual journey, I have learned that forgiveness is the number one tool to move forward. I can't really move forward if I'm still holding on to the past. And you don't forgive someone for them, you forgive someone for you. You know what I'm saying? You forgive someone for you. This has nothing to do with them. You forgiving them doesn't mean what they did wasn't wrong. You forgiving them doesn't mean that you are letting them get away with it. It doesn't mean that, they'll never be served justice. It doesn't mean that karma won't come and get them, whatever you may believe. It just means that you forgive them. It is out of your control. You know what I mean? I release this grudge I hold against you because I know that that's something deeper that you have to work with, and it's not about me. It's more about your personal work. And so I can't take that responsibility, and I don't want to take that on. I hold space for you to heal, but that's it. And you don't have to hold space for that person to heal. If you just say, I want to forgive you so I can move forward and be the best version of myself, that's it. You know, you take those steps. That is what you do for yourself. Dialogue with your shadow self. Talk to that weird person that lives inside of your head. You hear them often enough, and sometimes they start screaming at you because you try to ignore them. You know, that is your shadow side saying, "Let me out. I want people to see me too." You know, your inner child saying, "Oh, why you keep keeping me inside? I like music. I like to dance and sing. Just because you don't want people to know that you can't dance and sing, don't keep me inside. You know, just because you don't like to have a good time now because of something that happened in the past, but I did. You know, I love drawing. I love painting. I love writing short stories. Let me do that, because that is what I like to do. And have that dialogue. Well, today, you know, I just don't feel like it. Inner self, shadow self, you know, today I'm just not in the mood. And sometimes give them the permission to come out, work with your personality. And your shadow self really will start revealing things about you that you may have forgotten about yourself. Like, dang, I did like riding bikes when I was younger. Maybe we should do that one day. Or, oh, wow, I was very afraid of roller coasters when I was younger. Maybe I should go to, conquer that fear. Let's go get on a roller coaster. Just have that dialogue. Talk to them like you're a friend, because truly they are your friend. This is you internally. You should be your first friend if anyone else. Journaling. I will always go over and beyond to promote journaling because it's been such an imperative tool for my journey. I love to write. I've always loved to write. And sometimes it's really hard for me to write. And so those days that I don't have anything to write about, I will just doodle or get a crayon and just scribble or get a bunch of stickers and just put them in a position on the page. And that alone is healing for me, So make journaling whatever you want it. It could be a prompt. It could be an illustration. It could be a painting. It could be watercolors. It could be pastel. Make that whatever it is for you. Turn your journal into whatever that. This is your sacred journal. Whatever helps heals you and helps heals your past. That's what you do. That's what you use. Inner child work. So reparenting and inner child work is hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is hard skill. And I have no kids, but I have clients who do, and I will attest that it's even harder when you have children already, because you are now trying to parent yourself and parent them at the same time. So for those of us who want to have kids one day, I think this is imperative for us to start with, and it might be a blockage of why I haven't had a child yet, because that inner child work is like, woo, I try to avoid it. It's very hard. I don't recommend it. 3 out of 10. It is very hard work to do, but you have to remember that you are in charge of your inner child, not your parents. Your parents did what they could with your inner child, and now it is up to you to nurture and show love and show compassion. I give an example. If we are out with drinks with my friends, sometimes, and as a child, often enough, I love to talk, but I would often get told to hush and stay in a child's place, or other adults would talk over me if I was saying something, or you don't know what you're talking about because you're a child. And so now, even in my adult life, I have to check myself if I'm out with my friends and someone starts to talk over me, or someone starts to tell me I'm wrong about something. I will just completely disassociate from the conversation. I am no longer here. I do not want to speak. I am sitting in my child's place. I am not saying anything else because I don't want to be disrespectful. Sorry, letting the guys go by on their dirt bikes. But it's up to me to reparent. It's okay, baby. Say what's on your mind. Speak up. You know what I'm saying? No one's ever said it to me. No one's ever told me to speak up and be myself loud and clear. So it's up to me to tell myself, speak up. Let them hear what you say. Tell them you got something to say. Let them know what's on your mind, And so I'm in that season of my life, and it's beautiful. Definitely do the inner child work. Okay, so this is a fun exercise I want to do. You don't have to participate if you do not want to, but if you want to put it in the chat, you may. I'm all for that. When was a time in your life that you opened up and felt rejected? And I will share while I look in the chat. I will go ahead and give you guys. Oops, sorry. Okay. So, when was a time in your life that you opened up and felt rejected? So, I tried to tell. So I'll give an example. I was maybe 8 years old, and I tried to tell my grandmother that there was a snake in the yard. But because I was so fascinated with snakes as a child, she would not believe me. And I'm like, Grandma, we don't need to be outside today. There's a snake in the yard. And I kept saying it. The snake in the yard, And my grandma was like, no, there's no snake in the yard. Go outside. And so, in the result of us going outside, one of my cousins got bit by a snake. And when his mom came to, and like, what happened? What happened? I would not tell her what happened. I could not talk. And I felt that if I did tell her what happened and what I saw, and I told grandma that this happened, I told grandma it was going to happen, I thought I was going to get rejected and they weren't going to listen to me anyway. But in reality, it probably would have saved or helped the conversation, you know? So that was just one time that I thought about that. I really was being very honest and was like, I saw the snake outside. I know it's going to bite someone because I seen the snake, and I felt completely rejected. No one would listen to me, and even when someone would listen to me, I didn't feel safe enough to open up to that person. So that my emotional reaction to this was, I don't need to tell people. I'm worried about myself. I ain't worried about nobody else for no more. Because I tried to warn the people, they didn't want to listen to me. So I'm only worried about myself. I'm minding my business. But in the end, I really still can warn people about snakes. And that's just an emotion I had because I was rejected. You know, I felt very selfish with that. And it really stems from me not respecting authority. Really. So inner child work, I'm looking in the chat real quick. Inner child work is challenging. What I found helpful mostly, probably easier, is EMDR therapy. Yes, trauma psychologists. If any, Rashana, if you have any of those resources, I would love if you could give those to everyone here.
We actually had, so I'll share them with you guys later. We had a really dope therapist, Stephanie Leach, so I can share her contact. She is Maryland based, but you may have some more resources wherever you're located.
Love that. Thank you. Oh, so this one was a really good one that Rashana put in the chat. I opened up to tell my mom how she was making me feel, and she dismissed them and told me how I should feel and took my voice away. That right there, that is a deep wound that could keep you in that cycle for a lifetime. What was your initial emotional reaction to this, Rashana? Did you cry? Were you angry? If you don't mind sharing.
Okay, and this is not actual Rashana. So whoever this person
is.
I'm
sorry.
No, it's okay, girl. No, because this has been a thing. So those of you who would like to change your name, feel free to. You could do so, rename. However, if you just want to add on or feel like further explaining Bree's question, feel free to do. I just thought I'd let you know, Bree, that
and if you don't, that's totally what's to suppress. Okay. And that is a normal.
That was me.
Okay, sorry.
My name is Deshaun, yes.
Hi, Deshaun. Nice to meet you, Deshaun.
You as well.
That is a initial reaction to a lot of things, and especially in the BIPOC community, we suppress a lot of things because we are meant to be strong, and we're not supposed to voice our opinion, and we're just supposed to take things and deal with it. So suppressing a lot of our emotions when things happen, especially when your voice is being shut out, that is an initial response that I think we all have to learn and heal from. Do you know where, or have you tried to sit down and figure out why your mom may have said something like that to you, or why that may have been her reaction to what you've told her? You don't have to share with us, but in your own thoughts or in your own process, sitting down and saying, okay, well, why was my mom acting like that? What was up with her? Why was she reacting that way? Is that something that she was taught to do? Is that something that she was raised to do? Was she going through her own bit of emotional depression, or was she going through her own anger? Was she going in her own physical anger? You know, what was going on with mom when she did that? Or if nothing was going on with mom, what do you think it stemmed from? You think it just stemmed from neglect? Do you think it stemmed from something else? Maybe something generational?
Well, I felt that, like growing up, they always say a child should stay in a child's place.
Yes.
And so, if you're young and you try to attempt to explain yourself, or you attempt to say anything, that's considered talking back.
Yeah.
And that's disrespectful.
Yeah.
And so, I kind of grew up feeling like it's certain things that I should and shouldn't say because I don't want to get in trouble. So then that, growing up into adulthood, that kind of made me start to pick and choose what I express and what I don't. But then, doing the shadow work, you realize all the things that you suppressed was things that, you know, they stole your voice, basically.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that, Deshaun. That is, you said a mouthful, but really, we cannot take on responsibility for what other people react to our reaction. You know what I mean? I can say something to you and you can react some way to it. And that has nothing to do with me personally as a person, me as an individual, me as my personality, me as Bree the Goddess, me as Brianna. You know, it has nothing to do with me personally. That's your projection or your outburst to what I may have said. Maybe something I said triggered you. Maybe something in that moment triggered your mom, you know? And it's all apart. And that is why generational healing, ancestor work, breaking generational curses. This is why all of this is so important. Thank you for sharing. I'm gonna keep it that way. That way we can stay on time, guys. And then we'll do more questions in the Q&A. So we can go to the next slide. Who are you? So these are just some questions, and you don't have to answer these out loud. These are just some questions that really, really help where, like, almost like a basis of where to start with your generational healing. Who are you? You know, how do you see yourself? Is it a positive? Is it a negative? Why do you see yourself that way? You know, really sit with those thoughts. Like, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a badass? Do you see yourself as a rebel? Do you see yourself as a strong Black woman? Do you see yourself as a strong Black man? Do you see yourself, you know, just how do you see yourself? And I really think about not just physical attributes, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. How do you see yourself? You know, how do you think others see yourself? Now, this is where, you know, this is going to be a hard one because we truly don't know how other people see us unless we ask. And I'm not asking you to go out and ask other people how do they see you. I'm asking you, how do you think other people see you? Because this is a question to kind of mess with your head a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, because you may think that people think of you a certain way, and it might be a completely different way. But you've made this narrative in your head, and this is what you've told yourself. I'm this person, and so this is the person that people see, and it might be completely different. And the third question is, how do you want to be seen? Because all three of the, and you should probably, it should be a little different. Every answer should be different. How do you see yourself? How do you think other people see you? And how do you want to be seen? You know, who are you? These things make up this question, because this is what you think of yourself. So how do you want to be seen? I honestly would love to be seen as a healer. You know, that is what I see myself as, and I would love to see myself as a healer. But how do others see me? They think I'm a witch. You know, I mean, I'm weird. I'm a hippie. I you know, other people think of me differently because that's their interpretation, and I know that. You know, I know when I walk around with, you know, my crystals on, or I walk around with my cotton and sustainable fashion, and, you know, no shoes at the cookout and stuff. People are like, what's wrong with her? You know, like, who is she? Where she come from? She on that weird shit again. But that's not how I want to be seen, you know? That's not how I want to be seen. I want to be seen as someone that can help others, help them heal themselves. I'm not trying to heal you. I'm trying to show you the tools and share my experiences to help you heal yourself. And I don't think that's how everyone sees me. And sometimes I don't see myself as that either. Sometimes I feel like I could just be a little talkative and a little, you know, emotional myself. Like I do too much. But again, someone else may see me as someone very helpful, some bright spirit. And again, I just want to be seen as a plain old healer. I'm just here to help people heal and show people how to heal. But sit with those questions because they're really, really helpful when you're just getting started with this generational healing. And FYI, when you know who you are, and this includes your shadow, and actually you become happy with your life, you will pass that along to others. So not only will you pass that along to others in your bloodline, you're passing it along to strangers. You know, once you are happy and you know yourself, like really know yourself, like I know who I am, you know, I know the good shit, the bad shit, the bullshit, The fake shit, I know who I am and I'm happy with all of it, you know? Other people will be like, dang, well, that's cool. I like that about you. You happy? Maybe I should find how to make myself happier. You know, you happy, you joyous. I want some of that joy. I want some of that happiness. Now be careful, because some people will try to leech and manipulate that off of you too. So stay protected off that. That's when we talk about ancestral veneration and asking for guidance and protection and discernment for inviting people in our lives. But people will literally come to you because you are happy, and they will feel that happiness, and they'll be like, dang, I want some of that. How do I get there? You know? And it's up to you. You don't have to share. You know what I'm saying? If you happy, you want to stay happy to yourself, stay happy to yourself. Solitude. But if you're happy and you want to spread your happiness, do it through whatever you feel called to do it through. It might be through dance. It might be going live on Instagram. It might be through drawing. It might be through twerking. You know, there's so many avenues of happiness. And especially when we go through happiness that not always looks like happiness for everyone, not the commercial happiness, not the social media happiness, not the Cheerios commercial happiness, you know, like true happiness that starts from the inside and you just glow on the outside. And they be like, damn, what is new? What is that? What is that you got on you? It's happiness. I know who I am. I've accepted who I am, and I'm happy with it. I am happy with who I am and where I am. And this is an ongoing process, guys. This is not something, I think this is on the next slide. But this is not something, yes, this is not something that is going to happen overnight. It takes years and years and years to cultivate happiness from the inside. And it takes years and years and years, and it's an ongoing process of healing and generational healing. So what's most important to realize with generational healing is that time isn't a linear construct. So you're not just going to run through healing. It's not going to be like, okay, I've been healing for 2 years now, so I'm healed, right? No, because it takes a long time to get through some of those wounds. Healing won't happen quickly, and it never stops. You're always going to find something that you need to heal from. You're always healing, and it starts with you. And when you leave this realm, it continues with the next generation. So it doesn't stop with you. It just continues to someone else. So embrace your journey and extend grace to yourself during this process. It is hard to continue and be consistent with healing because it gets hard. It gets depressing. It gets sad. It can get frustrating. It can get crippling. You know, you've ever been like so sad that it's literally paralyzing. And it can happen, but it's up to you to fight through it and show up for yourself and show up for the rest of your bloodline by healing and seeking that joy so you can pass it on to generations before you and taking it 7 years back to the generation before you and the ones that's coming after you, which is really, really, really important. So yes, good luck to you all on your journey of generational healing. I hope this has been so informational. I hope that you guys got some answers to some things that you may have been wondering about. I'm gonna pass it over to Leah and Rashawn. I'm gonna put myself on mute. Let them guys tell you about our next session, which is divination that I will be doing. If you don't know what divination is, you will find out.
So I don't know what divination really is, so I really can't speak on what this next session will be about, but our next session in the series will be Sunday, August 8th, same time, 12 p.m. Central, and then make sure you attend this last one because we'll be announcing our next workshop, which will be kind of similar into the divination ancestral connection realm, so we'll hope to see you there. So I think next we have our Q&A. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and Bree will answer them. And we are almost done. I think the last thing after our Q&A is a nice guided meditation so we can all feel grounded and relax as we move on through the rest of this week.
I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
You know, when you talked about healing bloodlines and healing the bloodline before us, how do we actually go about doing that? Because, you know, we had our reading like 3 days ago, And of course, and I'm not scared to say one of my issues is abandonment, and that obviously, stemmed from generations before me. So how do I heal the generations before me and not just
So
after me?
you heal the generations before you by finding that trigger within you. When was the first time you felt abandoned that you can recall? Where did that abandonment issue within you start? Where did that trigger come from? What triggers your abandonment issue? And by you healing your wound, you're canceling out it being carried on from generations. And then talk to your ancestral bloodline. Talk to them. I've been working on this abandonment issues, but I need y'all to let me know. You know what I'm saying? Why do you feel abandoned? Who abandoned you? Sit with your meditation. We'll talk about divination in the next section, but through divination, you can kind of figure out, okay, what happened with you when you're talking to your ancestral bloodline. Talking to someone directly and saying, hey, oh, my sister's here, and saying, hey, what happened with you? Why did you feel abandoned? But it starts with you. So sitting and identifying your triggers and sitting and identifying what you have a problem with or where your problem lies, that's where you will begin to heal the rest of the generation and continue that out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, is there any way to get the recording from last week? I'm sorry, guys. That is not a question for me.
I can answer that question. So we are recording all of the sessions, and then at the very end of this workshop series, we're going to share with everyone via email how you can access all of the recordings.
Okay, cool. I was like, I do not know. Anyone else have any questions? I'm so happy to see everyone. Really. This is a really good job. Michelle, Holly, you have a question? Oh, unmute it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Please forgive me. Ashe, I'm driving to work, so
I'm glad you
my
can join
question
us.
is, okay, so girl, I wasn't gonna stop me even if I'm driving to work. I was gonna be in this session. So my question is, how do I know that I'm hearing from it's like I don't know that I'm hearing from my ancestor. It's like I don't know, I just go off what I think, but it's like some people like I talk to people and they say, well, I hear from my ancestors. I talk to them, but how do you know? The only thing that I've ever felt out of the blue was like my hair would stand up on my arms out of hair. You know what I mean? But other than that, it's like I feel like rejected because I don't hear any. I don't know.
So a lot of that comes from you trusting yourself and your intuition. That comes all the way from your intuition. Your intuition is what you hear first. You hear your intuition before you hear them. So you're being pulled to do things and you just see like, oh, okay, I'm doing this and then this happens. So that meant I was supposed to do that. That is your intuition. And so that is you living by your intuition. Now, to get direct messages from your ancestors, you have to ask for them. You know what I'm saying? Ask them direct questions. Ask them, okay, ask for discernment. I need to know if you are talking to me or if it's my intuition. I want to know the difference. Ask them for that. Then once you ask them for that, look for the signs. You got synchronicities, angel numbers, certain things showing up in nature, spirit animals, totem animals coming out the woodwork, like certain things. Let's say, for example, you ask a question to your ancestors and you like, I really want to know how I can move forward in life. And you get an email or a telephone call and it's like an opportunity for you to move forward in life. That is an answer right there in yourself. So you got to read between the lines also. Sometimes they can be very cryptic with messages. But a lot of the times
and then the other thing.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So sometimes, like when I'm around people and they're going through something or whatever. And it goes back to that rejection thing kind of too, also, because I've come into a situation where out of the blue, I'll just say something to somebody like, I don't think whatever you're going to do today, I don't think you should do it. You know what I mean? And I don't know where it come from. And I had that happen before where I did tell somebody something, and the outcome, because they went and did whatever they did, they're hurt physically for the rest of their life. And it was just like, I was like, I don't know what made me, but something said that I needed to tell that person that, you know what I mean? And,
So
and because they didn't listen to me,
I want to say that's
they didn't listen to me, like, it scared me. And it's like, I don't say anything anymore because I felt like, okay, nobody's listening to me.
Well, no. So you cannot take you can't take responsibility for other people's action, and you did what you were supposed to do. You know what I mean? So by you delivering that message, even though you were called to, and you had no idea why, that is you getting intuitive with your gifts, and that's your gift showing up for you. As far as what happened next, that's not something that you can attach yourself to. You can't attach yourself to the outcome. You can't attach yourself to the outcome of certain situations. Hold space for that person, and compassion for them, but you can't hold on and take on responsibility, and you not wanting to continue and not say things to people, that's going to hurt yourself, but now you're suppressing and building blockages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a process.
That makes sense.
But don't get afraid of it. You have people that don't listen to what you say, and you have people that will listen to what you say. But as long as you are delivering your message, don't just assume that you have to take full responsibility for what happens next. The outcome is not your problem.
And is it normal for you to be like drained, like
yes,
like your energy
normal.
is drained?
Yeah, and that's something that you have to learn to is more so about learning what to say yes to and what to say no to, and then you will have, again, ask for discernment from your ancestors, because they're the one that help you decide what's worth your time and what's not. But also replenishing yourself a lot, cleansing yourself, making sure you're cleansing yourself, cleansing your space. That keeps you aligned and you won't be so drained. Learning how to meditate and learn how to take those few deep breaths before things get rough.
Yeah, I struggle with the meditation a lot because I can't, my head is all over the place. It's like everybody say you got to clear your head. I have a hard time just like,
no, it's
clearing
so meditation.
It's like
meditation doesn't start with just clearing your head. You can do forms of meditation differently. There's dance meditation, there's shower meditation, there's lie down and just sleep meditation. There's so many forms of meditation, fire meditation. You have to find what works for you. Don't kind of get so caught up and clear your mind, and don't let thoughts intrude your mind, because this is going to happen. You're a human. You know what I'm saying? You're going to start thinking about different things, and you're going to start letting your mind wander. As long as you can bring that focus back to your intention for the meditation, that's what more it's about. It's not about just emptying your mind and just being quiet. It's really about you connecting with your higher self and connecting with your spirit.
Thank you so much, because I'm gonna lose you guys when I go underneath this parking garage. So I'm just gonna say Ashe and thank you.
No problem, Ashe. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad to see your face again.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next question. I see. Oh, that was my hand raised. I didn't mean to raise my hand. Did I see any more raised hands?
Kathleen.
Anywhere? Any other questions?
I guess I got one.
Ben?
Earlier, me or somebody else?
No, Ben.
Okay.
Unmute your thing. I don't know if it's muted or not. Okay, there you go.
Hi. I just had a quick question, and I guess kind of sort of a comment, because you were talking about working on inner child and being a parent. So I had my first child 15 days before, no, I'm sorry, 20 days before I turned 15. So like I grew up with my son and he's actually getting ready to turn 17. So it's really been a process. How I kind of like been working on my inner child, like as a parent. I let my kids be open and be free. What I'm trying to teach them now as they're going through their hormones is there's a way to communicate that without being nasty and disrespectful, because that was my problem growing up. It wasn't what I was saying, it was how it was coming out of my mouth. So that's what I'm going through now, and it takes a lot, a lot of patience, because I'm healing, but I feel I have to heal them from a lot of things that I put them through as well.
Yeah.
You know, and I found out that my mom was adopted. So I'm like, well, shit, that explains so much.
Yeah.
It explains so much, you know, and not only that, like she was adopted by my great grandma. So like that's all I've ever known my entire life. And to hear, well, yeah, I was adopted. And I'm like, what? Well, where's she at? And I had to go look. And it took me a long time, but I finally did find her, and I found out that she passed. So I was kind of heartbroken, but I've been trying to, because no one that's left living will talk to me about it. Like it's this, we're not going to say anything. And the first time I brought it to my aunt, like to my grandma, I was, you know, as an ancestor, like she blew my candle out. And I was just like, well, we got to talk about this. Eventually, there's got to be a time where we talk about it. So, and that's why I was asking about the recording from last week, because I got to get it straight. I got to make sure that the veneration is right. I don't want to mix where it's not supposed to be mixed. I don't want to cause any confusion with nobody, because like all my kids, like they're already coming into their gifts. So I'm healing my inner child, where they're working on their inner child, where they already have this big stress of generational curses, you know. So, but we're getting rid of that. It's out of here, okay? Getting rid of all of that. All that got to go. Got to go. But yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, though, because it really,
that's my comment statement.
That really is important, though. I think you are doing a very, very, very good job at doing what you are just going with. You know what I mean? You are going with the flow and listening to your intuition and like, oh, I got trauma, so I know y'all got trauma that I passed on to you, so we're gonna work through it. You know what I mean? And that is beautiful in itself. So you are doing a great job, and I wish you a lot of good luck and love and strength on your journey, because that is something hard to go through. I would say, so about the ancestral veneration, where you can start is call on the ancestors that are elevated with the purest intention for you. Just that is the quickest way to know who is on your team for you and who is on your team just to be on your team. Not everybody want to play ball. Not everybody is ready for healing, and not everyone is ready to let go of certain behavior patterns, even if they're in a different realm. So definitely getting it right on that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, guys, I am going to shut down our Q&A. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to email me. You can follow me on Instagram. It's at Breathe the God. It's the same thing. You can DM me. I have my email in my bio on Instagram. I have my website on my bio and everything in there. Yeah, and if you forget and you just can't find it, you can always email Unity and Healing. They'll send everything over to you as well, because they are awesome. So right now we're gonna do our closing guided meditation. If you guys feel free to turn your cameras off, no pressure to keep your cameras on. If you would like to turn your camera off to connect, hopefully my phone is like on 9%, so hopefully it will not die on us before we close out. Everyone get into your comfortable position. If you can, put your feet on the floor. All four corners should be rooted into the floor. Beautiful. We're just gonna unclench the jaw, unfurrow your brows, bringing the face to a nice relaxed state, rolling the shoulders up, rolling them back, and then bringing them down. Beautiful. Removing your tongue from the top of your mouth, creating a little space in between your lips, and just breathing naturally. Continuing to breathe here, connecting with your higher self. Begin to play with a couple of colors. Begin to play with shapes, colors. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Another inhale and exhale. Just taking some time to let all the frustration, anxiety, overthinking, depression, just letting that roll right off of the shoulders, off of yourself, rolling right onto the floor, releasing that energy because we no longer have to carry it around. Okay. With each inhale, inviting in abundance, healing, and prosperity for the body, mind, and soul. And as we exhale, releasing the things that no longer serve us and the obstacles and blockages that disrupt our pattern and path of healing. And inhaling and exhale. Another inhale and exhale. Send some intention in the next couple of seconds. Send some intention for your healing generationally, connecting to the generations before you and the generations after you. Just listening to what the body brings up, listening to what the mind brings up for these next couple of moments as you breathe. And slowly bringing awareness back into the body, wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, slowly blinking the eyes open. We're going to take a stretch up with the fingers, just stretching them up over the head. And then bringing the fingertips to touch, bringing them down to heart center. And with a grateful heart, thank you so much for allowing me to lead you in today's session. My heart is full of bliss and gratitude for each and every one of you. I wish you love, healing, and compassion throughout your week. Until we meet next time for our next session of divination, Ashe. And thank you so much.